The rumor began with a single photo, one blurry, unexpected snapshot that changed everything. Jamie Dornan wasn't doing anything scandalous, yet the image captured attention, a closeness, a moment suspended between him and a woman who was definitely not supposed to be there. Within hours, social media caught fire, and whispers of a love triangle exploded across the internet. Fans asked the same frantic question: who were the two hearts pulling Jamie in opposite directions? For years, Jamie had been seen as the grounded one in Hollywood, disciplined, devoted, and rarely caught in unnecessary drama. His relationships were always handled quietly, away from flashing cameras and empty gossip. But the entertainment world never ignores a mystery that involves love, loyalty, and risk. And what made this situation even more intense was the fact that people close to Jamie insisted he had been struggling emotionally long before the photo surfaced. It all began with the first heart, the person who had stood beside him through the storms of fame. Someone who knew his habits, his moods, his fears, and the way he tried to hide stress behind a charming smile. This connection was deep, old, and built on years of shared history that outsiders could never fully understand. But recently, those close to them noticed a shift. Conversations became shorter, eye contact less frequent, and moments of warmth replaced by an unexplained distance neither of them admitted aloud. Jamie had been distracted, unsettled, and unusually quiet. And that was when the second heart appeared. She entered his life quietly at first. Just another face at an event, another person in a room full of people. But something about the way they interacted made fans suspicious. Their chemistry wasn't forced, wasn't staged, and certainly wasn't the type born from publicity. It felt natural, almost too natural, and when they were seen talking intimately backstage after an event, the internet began piecing together their story, one frame at a time. People who witnessed the encounter described something electric. A softness in Jamie's voice, a closeness in their stance, a moment where the world seemed to disappear around them. It wasn't a romantic gesture, not exactly. But it wasn't innocent either. There was a pull, subtle but undeniable. For the first time, Jamie seemed torn. The woman from the photo became the symbol of everything he wasn't ready to confront. She represented possibility, danger, emotion, and the thrill of something unexpected. And yet, the other woman, his long-standing connection, represented safety, loyalty, and the life he had built over years of effort. The tension escalated when people close to Jamie noticed him growing quieter, spending long hours alone, and avoiding questions about his personal life. He was caught between two truths he couldn't escape. One evening, a member of his inner circle shared that Jamie had confided in them about feeling pulled in two directions. They said he seemed exhausted, carrying a weight heavier than any role he had ever played. He wasn't chasing scandal, he was trying to make sense of his own heart. But the world outside didn't know that. They saw only drama, heated speculation, trending hashtags, fan theories, and endless comparisons between the two women. Then came the real turning point. A leaked message surfaced online, allegedly from someone who had seen Jamie that same night. It described him standing alone in a quiet corridor, staring at his phone with an expression of regret mixed with longing. The message claimed Jamie whispered something under his breath, something that suggested he wasn't ready to lose either of them. Whether the quote was real or fabricated didn't matter. The public believed it instantly. Suddenly, fans weren't asking who the two women were. They were asking who Jamie loved more. The tension only grew when he cancelled an appearance last minute without explanation. Sources said he looked overwhelmed, unable to hide his emotions. And for the first time, people around him began to worry. Jamie Dornan, the man known for calm composure, appeared lost. But the moment that truly shocked everyone happened just days later. A source leaked that Jamie had met privately with one of the women, late at night, away from cameras, away from prying eyes. What was said in that conversation? No one knows. But the little details described by the witness, the trembling in Jamie's hands, the intensity in his voice, the expression on the woman's face, suggested that something irreversible had shifted. Whatever happened in that room was enough to change everything. And as the world kept guessing, one thing became dangerously clear. Jamie Dornan was no longer standing firmly in one life. He was already stepping into the crossroads of two hearts, and the next move he made would ignite the biggest emotional storm he had ever faced. The fallout from that private meeting was immediate. By the next morning, whispers turned into headlines, and headlines evolved into a storm that even Jamie Dornan couldn't outrun. Both women at the center of the story reacted differently, one retreating into complete silence, and the other unexpectedly stepping forward with a statement that only deepened the mystery. For fans, it felt like watching a love story unravel in real time, filled with tension, heartbreak, and choices no one wanted to make. The first woman, the one who had been in Jamie's life for years, chose to say nothing at all. Her absence from social media was enough for observers to painfully suspect that she was hurting more than she wanted to admit. Sources close to her revealed that she had been deeply affected by the swirling rumors, yet she still refused to blame Jamie or feed the media frenzy. Her quietness felt like a shield, one she was using to protect both herself and the history they shared. Meanwhile, the woman from the infamous photo made a bold move. She shared a cryptic message online, nothing explicit, nothing incriminating, but enough to ignite 1,000 theories. The message spoke of crossroads, timing, and unspoken feelings, sending fans into a frenzy trying to decode her meaning. People wondered, was she confessing something, hinting at something, or simply trying to control a narrative rapidly spinning out of her hands? Jamie remained silent. His silence, however, said more than any statement ever could. Friends who had spoken to him confidentially described him as tormented, exhausted, and unsure of what he wanted. He wasn't sleeping well, wasn't eating much, and had begun avoiding conversations about anything personal. He told one friend that he felt like he was failing two people at once, and failing himself most of all. Then came the leak that sent everything spiraling further. A witness claimed Jamie had told the woman from the photo that he needed time. Not rejection, not acceptance, just time to breathe. But in the world of celebrity culture, time is a luxury the internet refuses to grant. As pressure grew, Jamie finally agreed to meet with the first woman, the one who had known him longest. Their conversation took place behind closed doors, but a source close to the situation described the atmosphere as heavy, emotional, and painfully honest. Jamie reportedly admitted that he felt overwhelmed and confused, torn between loyalty and emotion, past and possibility. The woman listened quietly, but the witness said her eyes showed a long, aching sadness, the kind that appears when someone realizes the future they imagined may no longer exist. Outside that room, the drama reached its breaking point. Fans formed two camps online, fiercely defending one woman or the other. Comment sections became battlefields filled with theories, accusations, and emotional pleas. Even major news outlets began analyzing the situation, framing it as one of the most unexpected relationship storms to hit Jamie in his entire career. Videos, montages, and fan edits began circulating, each one depicting their own version of the love triangle. But the most surprising twist came from someone on the outside, a person who had previously worked closely with Jamie. In an unexpected interview, they revealed that the actor had been wrestling with emotional burnout for months. The love triangle, they claimed, wasn't born from desire or thrill, but from vulnerability. Jamie wasn't trying to choose between two hearts. He was trying to understand his own. This revelation shifted the narrative dramatically. Suddenly, people began questioning whether this was truly a scandal, or simply a painful human moment made worse by the pressure of fame. Discussions turned reflective. Some empathized with Jamie, understanding how difficult it must be to navigate emotions under a microscope. Others argued that confusion was not an excuse, and that hearts, real hearts, were still on the line. As the story approached its climax, Jamie knew he couldn't hide any longer. He released a short, carefully written message addressing the situation. He didn't choose a side. He didn't offer a dramatic confession. Instead, he spoke about honesty, emotional clarity, and the importance of stepping back before making decisions that could change lives forever. It was a message filled with regret, respect, and an undeniable hint of longing for what he didn't say. The world held its breath. Behind the scenes, the two women reevaluated their own feelings. One realized she may need to let him go if he couldn't commit fully. The other began questioning whether she was truly prepared for the chaos that came with being tied to him publicly. Both women, in their own ways, stepped back from the tornado, leaving Jamie standing alone in the eye of the storm. The future remained unclear. Jamie's next move, whatever it would be, had the power to heal or shatter the fragile balance that still existed. But for now, one thing was certain. No matter how much the world speculated, only Jamie knew which heart he could no longer ignore, and whether he was brave enough to follow it.